Okay, so how can I best say this? If you're working your ass off, grinding, hustling, however the fuck you want to call it, the worst possible thing you can do is to not allow yourself to be happy in the present moment. So to keep on telling yourself, I'm not good enough until I achieve the things have been so long working for. The problem is, this way of thinking just builds up tension that is waiting to be released by one event. A moment where things do not go as planned, where you find yourself extremely useless because the future achievements you based your worth and fulfillment on all of a sudden look like they're not in reach anymore. It gets pretty nasty. But before we move on, I'm Vic. Nice to meet you, nice to have you here. I'm somebody who has both worked my ass off with the mindset of not allowing myself to be happy and allowing myself to be happy. And believe me, the latter yields so many more positive results when it comes to goal achievement. And I'm going to explain in a simple, fast, and understandable way why and how this is possible. And don't worry, in a couple minutes I'm even going to illustrate it so that you have no way of misunderstanding what the fuck I'm trying to say to you. But before, I'm going to have to dive in how it even came to the shift in mindset. Because normally, right, I should be, at my age, 20, working my ass off, grinding while I'm telling myself I'm not allowed to feel shit. I should be having self-hatred, right? Anyways, the narrative I lived off back then was I'm not allowed to be happy, I instead have to be fulfilled. Why? My assumption was that happiness is not backed by anything but fulfillment is. I can be happy for no reason, so I don't have to be productive in order to feel happy. Which is why I said, okay, if you want something to signal to you that you're productive and to make sure that you stay productive, strive to be fulfilled instead of being happy. Because the more productive I am, the more fulfilled I am, and the less productive I am, the less fulfilled I am. And that's kind of a good measurement, right? At least that's what I thought. This mindset did work for a couple months. The pros were that I got a lot of work done, not that much interruption, I was pretty focused. The majority of my focus was shifted though towards achieving those big goals in the future. And the cons were that in the present moment, I generally did not feel that much emotion. I didn't really have that much appreciation for the present moment. The majority of my fulfillment, it was fully dependent on the strategy working, right? On me achieving those big goals. And then the turning point came, and that was during February to April. A month-long sickness kicked in, followed by losing a lot of money during a market crash that totally fucked up a lot of people's portfolios, including mine, at least for the moment. I had a business idea that failed. So you get the point. All these goals that I planned on achieving over the next month. So the money that I was able to earn, the opportunities that would be open for me, the influence that I would potentially have, all these things that I based my fulfillment off of were all of a sudden out of reach. So during this realization of all these long planned ideas not coming to fruition, extreme mental volatility started to appear. Anxiety about the future, sense of purposelessness. It all happened pretty fucking fast. No appetite, throwing up on multiple mornings, repetitive sessions on the toilet. Holy fuck. Not wanting to get out of bed all day. I remember asking myself, where is the point in waking up the next couple of days? Besides telling myself that I can't disappoint my mom, it was really hard to see a light at the end of the tunnel. And this is why I'm making this video. The whole fucking point of it is that this is exactly what a lack of happiness, gratitude, and appreciation for the present moment does to you. It blinds you from seeing any possible opportunity in the present that exists to make you better in the current moment. So the only thing I said to myself is, okay, this can never fucking happen again. There has to be a way how to be more productive, how to set goals, work towards them, and not fucking burn out in the process. This simply cannot be done with the approach that I had. So by resenting happiness or allowing yourself to feel emotion in general, and instead chasing fulfillment, which did not really arrive because I didn't end up achieving those goals I set to achieve, right? And this is where things really get fucking good, because this is where I now get to illustrate. The main assumption is that in hustle culture, we do not allow ourselves to feel happy because why? We fear that it will make us complacent. We fear that when we feel a sense of happiness, our mind will start to tell us we aren't good enough. So an increase in happiness leads to an increase in complacency. You get the fear that your mind is telling you you are good enough. Therefore, the need to be productive is less, and therefore you achieve less goals. And that's the whole fear, right? You fear that Complacency will lead to you not being able to work your ass off and not being able to meet those goals, to earn the money, to buy that car, buy that house, buy that watch. I don't fucking know. But you get the point that I'm trying to make. I'm in no way trying to talk down on working your ass off on the grind, because I absolutely support it myself. I just think that you can allow yourself to feel emotions while doing so. Anyways, so what do? You do not want to be complacent. So you just say, I'm gonna get rid of happiness and the complacency. I'm gonna totally just fucking shield it off. You're scared that emotions will influence your actions, which is why instead of dealing with your emotions and understanding them, you instead say, I'm going to suppress them, avoid that whole work, that introspective work, and understanding what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. And I'm going to make sure that I don't have to think about it while I'm focusing on working my ass off. So by doing this, you remove happiness from the equation. You increase your productivity, therefore increase your goal achievement, in the hopes of getting this sense of fulfillment. But the question is, will you ever be truly fulfilled? Because the thing is, the moment this whole goal achievement we're talking about, the fulfillment that you will receive from it, the moment the goals you are thinking about right now are achieved, once you reach that point, a million more goals are going to be in front of you. It's like when you're on a hike in the mountains and you reach the first hill, you reach the first mountain, it's the only mountain you saw from the bottom. But once you reach it, all of a sudden you see the next peak that you have to ascend, and it's such a long way. You know how this is. So, are you really able to be fulfilled? I do not think so. The whole explanation behind this is that people do not allow themselves to feel happy and appreciate the present moment because they're scared that once they do, they won't be able to mentally shield against what happiness could do to their behavior. And all of this is just a simply lack of impulse control, of emotional regulation of the brain, especially the area responsible for decision making, the prefrontal cortex. But there's a way to fix this. There's a way to make sure that you can still be productive, still be in the grind, while not taking on that risk of all those emotions just collapsing on you once something unexpected or unfortunate happens. And it's literally just rewiring your brain so that it can separate emotions from actions. And one of the ways by doing that is systemization. And why is systemization so special? Well, think about it. This whole process, I'm going to illustrate here. The whole process of not allowing yourself to feel happy, therefore, for the short term, increasing your productivity, goal achievement, potentially becoming fulfilling, you already get it. You already get this. This doesn't have to be the case. With a system, you all of a sudden do not have to base your productivity off a motivation in the future or an emotion in the present. It is simply based off signals that tell you what to do, regardless of how you feel. The system could be an app, a to-do list, a spreadsheet, some kind of productivity fucking system. And by acting on these signals, regardless of how you feel, so even if you're happy, your level of productivity correlates to the standard that your system is setting you at. So the level of achievement that your system you've designed is allowing you to be at. And you know what this means? The more you systemize yourself, the more productive you become, and the more goals you achieve. And there's no need to wait on feeling this sense of fulfillment or emotion once you achieve the goals, because you are allowing yourself to feel emotion while all of this is occurring. While this process of getting better, of adaptation, of growing, personal growth, the grind, the hustle, how the fuck you want to call it, is happening. Just with the benefit that if those goals do not get reached because some kind of event that you cannot foresee happens, your world doesn't collapse, you don't hate yourself, you don't fucking burn out, you don't want to quit life, because in the present moment you had enough appreciation for yourself, but also for your work and for the act of hustling itself. Because, you know, we all love to say how life is not about the destination, but all about the journey. So why care so much about the destination and neglect that journey, even though the journey is the most special part about it? Have more appreciation for the journey. Have more appreciation for this process of learning, adapting, becoming better by the day, working towards your goals. No matter if you achieve them, as long as you're working every day and learning something new and allowing yourself to feel grateful and happy in the process, that sounds like an amazing life to me. So to sum up this new approach, let's look at the pros and cons. So the pros are that you're able to work your ass off without the need for suppressing emotions. You can allow yourself to feel happy or sad, but why not execute the option of feeling happy, grateful, or just genuinely positive-minded for the majority of time when there are practices out there that allow you to do so? Literally just watch some videos from Dr. Andrew Huberman. That is half the job done. And last but not least, no dependence for your well-being on an uncertain event in the future, because you are already doing everything to feel good in the moment whilst working towards a better future. It's not like it's either one or the other. Both can coincide with each other at the same moment of time. The cons, on the other hand, are by allowing yourself to feel emotions, you must learn how to understand, or better said, navigate them. Like, if you do not know how to manage your emotions and regulate them properly, yes, chances are high, once you feel happy, the fear that you have and that I also once had, that happiness will influence my productivity, make me less productive and therefore less successful, will, with a very high likelihood, turn out to be true. Which is why you must reflect on what you're feeling and how those feelings can be dealt with so that they are, from a mental perspective, a net positive, at least for the majority of the time. And you know what this means? Yeah, you probably didn't expect this to come, but this means more work on your spiritual self. So engaging in practices like mindfulness, meditation, gratitude practice. And I would argue that this is the main reason why feeling happy is resented in hustle culture. It's not the resentment of happiness itself, but the challenges one is forced to face once happiness is felt, but goals still need to be achieved. All of this new effort, so emotional regulation, systemization, spiritual work, that one now has to engage in just so that they can allow themselves to feel emotions like happiness in the present and make sure that those emotions do not influence their actions, therefore their productivity, in a negative way. All this extra work just seems unattractive and counterproductive. But to be honest, it's not. Over the long term, putting in this extra kind of work is crucial if you want to put the probabilities in your favor of, first of all, being successful, and second of all, not burning out in the process or not becoming depressed or overly anxious in the process. I mean, in the end, the only thing I can tell you is you can take the knowledge from this video and do with it whatever the fuck you want. You can wipe your ass with it 5,000 times. I really don't care. It's your life. You do you. You do what you think is best. Just don't get angry if anything I talked about happens to you in the future.